how the sinking of Atlantis took place according to the Olympians. Atlantis, or Posidonia, was conquered around 11,500 BC. That's about 13,500 years ago. Let's remember that's just before the Clovis Comet impact, or the Younger Dryas period as we know. And this was from what Plato of ancient Greece told us was the time of the sinking of Atlantis. So this was around 11,500 BC. By the forces of Saturn, and its occupation lasted until 9,560 BC when it sank. The determination of the Saturday Atlantis. Now, the Saturn Atlantis. The message from the Olympians according to the sinking of Atlantis after its occupation by the rebel forces of Saturn for almost 2 millennia. Quote, "The sinking of Atlantis is due to mistakes by its scientists. The ancient Greeks, aided by the goddess Athena and the goddess Phoebus Apollo, created in the means of observation of apostates of Saturn of Atlantis a virtual reality of attacking forces, and this virtual reality was transferred as realized in a field of cation composition that we created, so that it was impossible to visually and electronically control it, as it was impossible to approach media or visit energy entities such as the exiled priests. Thus, we created the certainty of the real existence of our media, the fact that made the Atlanteans think that they were under attack since they had lost all control of reality. The Atlanteans expended enormous amounts of energy to neutralize our virtual offensive means. This energy was produced by an energy grid of giant crystals of their own Gorgon, a weapon destructive and very violent, which our technology cannot even imagine. And the Gorgonian crystals were found in the territory of Atlantis, as well as the coasts of Africa and the Americas. They were mounted on metal frames so as not to be affected by climatic conditions. And the central crystal was the largest of all and was close to any enemy weapon of destruction. And the Atlanteans mastered solar energy and produced enormous amounts of material and antimatter energy, which they stored in condensed navels of the giant crystals, along with the crystalline energy they produced themselves. It was used not only for military purposes, but also to diversify the living conditions of the planet. They caused earthquakes, floods, and extreme weather conditions, and it was used for peaceful purposes in telecommunications, in the communications of the sea, air, and ground vessels, in lighthouses, as well as for control of movements of fish, birds, and animals. They had the ability from the energy center of the crystals. The crystal operators of the Gorgon of Atlanta were the high priests, the Atlantis that is, who were the high priests who activated it with thought, with mental frequencies attuned to the frequency of the crystals, something that was impossible for the uninitiated. The basis of the Gorgonian crystals were hollow, crystalline in structure, and contained chemicals, antimatter, plasma, and prototype to which the priests thoughtfully provoked reactions and changes in their mass, thus releasing the accumulated energy. And when they achieved the perfect coordination of their spiritual frequencies with those of the crystals, they created a mental energy grid that enabled them to become invisible, to vanish, to move instantly in time and space, interdimensionally, to make mass transfusions of wisdom and experience to their troops and to realize their thinking. Because they had defeated old age, the whole population was fighting. All the transmitted energy of the defense weapons of the Atlanteans of Saturn was used to stop the attacking of virtual forces, and because they did not diffuse to neutralize the targets, they escaped and crashed violently in the electromagnetic pole that surrounds Gaia, our Earth. And this web was technologically reinforced with ionospheric beams to control the entry and exit of celestial forces into the planet's atmosphere. The vibrations suffered by Gaia's electromagnetic mast due to the energy kick from the energy of the spacer's weapons was so strong that it provoked violent reactions, both at the speed of rotation around its axis and at the speed of rotation around the sun. The static balance of Gaia was disturbed, resulting in high-intensity pulsation, which caused not only slippage on its orbit, but also acceleration of the rotational speed around its axis. Due to the inertia, the phenomenon of movement of surface wave bodies, oceans, seas, lakes, and rivers occurred, resulting in the creation of catastrophic waves that exceeded 2,000 meters, that's over 6,000 feet, in seas and oceans. The winds that were created exceeded 1,000 kilometers per hour. The magnetic and geographic poles of Gaia moved. The acceleration of the rotation around its axis, as well as the increase of the rotation speed around the sun, had as a result to reduce the duration of the day and night and the calendar year. The phenomena of Gaia sliding on its orbit lasted about 48 hours, and the phenomena of pulsation in the degenerative sequence lasted about 40 days. The calm of the water bodies occurred within an earthly year, and the complete normalization of Gaia's movements around its axis and the sun took place in a century, according to the terminology. In addition to these results, the sliding and acceleration rotation caused huge vibrations and frictions in the tectonic plates, and the result of these frictions was the accumulation of huge amounts of energy in the cracks of the slabs that caused catastrophic earthquakes. The landslides and acceleration of Gaia's speed, vibrations, frictions, waves, and winds caused the plates to move, accompanied by the simultaneous release of fiery magma. All of these phenomena contributed to the fragmentation and sinking of Atlantis, a phenomenon that has been experienced many times in the planet Gaia. All the catastrophic phenomena got the maximum value due to the uncontrolled operation of the mermaid, and the forces was released. The earthquake stopped with the final sinking of Atlantis. The image of universal catastrophe was completed with the creation of dense clouds of smoke, water vapor, and the release of poisonous gases, which destroyed all species of life in this area for many years. And the use of those ancient weapons with concentrated sound and energy beams of tremendous intensity by the ancient Greeks also contributed to the complete destruction of Atlantis. These weapons functioned by blocking the noise made by the celestial bodies with their movements and its instantaneous release. This sound weapon, in addition to the material damage it caused, created problems of instability and panic, and neutralized the possibility that the Atlanteans had become invisible. The movement of the celestial bodies produced a constant and intense noise, which does not reach the ears of people. The cosmic silence is achieved by trapping these noises in cosmic loops where they degenerate. They are the mysterious laws of nature and events that you do not know are going to manifest in the future. The destruction of Atlantis was universal. Only the tops of the mountains survived. Remains of the ruined Atlantean Gorgon are on the shores of the American continent, in the area you call the Bahamas by your own name, and are the ones that create the mysterious blue lights at the bottom of the sea, which you have not explored. At this point, there was the central array of oversized crystals of the renegade Gorgon. Earth signs the astronauts see as they move away in space, as reported by Apollo 12 astronauts. And this was from the Great Preparation, from Salonika, and I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.